Shalom Israel first. We want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Kakadash. They want to see Apostle Oscar Millstone, peace salutation, 1/3 elective Israel, the brother Tajapanya. I'm with
Yeshaya.
And today for this lesson, just going into the mirth of this place is ceasing. All right. And me and the bro, we stepped out, we in Cali right now. And it's just, through the spirit, we're talking about how this place, isn't what it used to be. You came here, a few years ago, and this shit was lively. It seemed like everybody and their mom was here, but now it's uh, like there's nobody here, and it's boring. You could tell the mirth is ceasing. All right, and this is all scriptural. So we got Isaiah 24, and I'll start at 4. It says, "The earth mourneth and fadeth away; the world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish." All right, and the haughty people of the earth do languish. You see these Edomites, they going through it. On TikTok, it's nothing but a bunch of people just complaining about barely getting by. It's either food or rent. And that's a part of the mirth season because shit then got serious. You don't have that extra, the spare few dollars to go on vacation each year. Now it's like you using that extra money to, barely get by. You got now. You got people. You can clone a fucking burger from McDonald's.
Right.
Like that's how you know this shit is ceasing. The mirth is ceasing. But it says the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. All right, and that's the result of the earth is defiled because the law, statutes, commandments aren't implemented. And this devil Esau is ruling. He's a tyrant. When you read in Isaiah 14, it talks about how is the if you want to get Isaiah 14 real quick. Who smote the people continual wrath.
Come. So Isaiah 14 and verse 6. I'll start actually at verse 4 actually.
Okay.
It says, "Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, How hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? The Lord Yahweh hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He smote the people in wrath with continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth.
And keep reading.
The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing."
Yeah, so that's gonna be the sigh of relief when this devil gets taken down. All right, because everything is mourning right now. Because Esau, he's putting the squeeze on everything. Prices are going up, wages are going down. And it just seems you can barely afford to live. All right, and it's funny too because Babylon was proud as hell. Babylon calling these other nations third world countries and I wouldn't want to go there, blah blah blah. Now these other nations is laughing at these Babylonians because y'all can barely afford food. You're getting GMO meats, all different types of shit. Like, bro, this is hell. All right, but let me keep reading just to get the point. It says, "Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. The mirth of tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth." All right, so that just goes to show you the mindset of these people is, these people, it's doom and gloom now. It's not time to be holly jolly. They say holly jolly Christmas. Well, niggas out here, I don't think these niggas gonna be able to have a Christmas. All right, you got people. People are struggling to try to continue with the holidays, but niggas can't afford it. All right, but you got anything?
Khan, did you already read down to like the 9th verse and the 10th verse?
Oh no, yeah, I'm gonna read that. Isaiah 24:9, it says, "They shall not drink wine with a song; strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down; every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There's a crying for wine in the streets; all joy is darkened; the mirth of the land is gone." Want to speak on that?
Khan, so the mirth of the land is gone, and there's a cry for wine in the streets. All right, people are gonna start realizing that there's nothing that's gonna help them when people aren't able to do the vain things that they're used to doing. All right, they're gonna start trying to figure out means of salvation, and they're gonna start trying to figure things to do. You see a lot of people right now, they're turning to this and to that. They're turning into policies. There's uproars happening, and through the Spirit, it's gonna actually intensify, where people are gonna uproar. Right, they're gonna riot because it's getting to the point where the debt system. The beloved brother Tazabah, the GMS Arizona Church, brought this actually out earlier today through the Spirit, that our global debt is extremely high. Right, the highest it's ever been, and also, going into that debt is all owned to certain people, right? That thick clay, and these regular people. If you're just keeping up with the economists, the scriptures talk about in Ecclesiastes, the 12 chapters, the keepers of the house shall tremble. Right? Who's the keepers of Esau's house? Who is his prophets? That's his global economists. Okay, his prophets are the scientists, the economists, the analysts, right? And Esau's keepers right now are telling him that the economy right now is worse than it was back in 2007 going into the 2008 crash. Right? The value of the dollar is going to be stripped, and they're going to actually come in with that universal currency. Right? We're in times where they're going to start ushering in that MOTB, and people around here, the divine, the earth is, the mirth is ceasing. All right, Esau is gonna usher in these fucking NWOs and try to, and it's gonna look like the next best thing. It's gonna look like for everybody that this is gonna turn life around finally. We're able to actually live again.
That's the frog in the pot. Right now the Lord is using Esau the sword, but Esau is turning the pot. The heat up in the pot. Right now it's like, okay, you put a frog in the water, and you slightly increase the heat and it starts boiling, then that motherfucker gonna try to jump out. All right, it's all through gradualism that Esau is moving in. All right, so he's putting the squeeze on on the people, so that way when it's all said and done, your form of salvation is take this shit.
Right.
So that that's a part of that's a part of it ultimately. You gonna say something?
Yeah, going back to like the main topic of the video, talking about the mirth ceasing on an objective term, going into that word languish in Isaiah the 24th chapter. Got it put up here in the blue letter. It says, to be weak, to droop, to languish, to be exhausted, all right, to grow feeble, all right, and no flesh shall, what is that one precept is the times where they go on, no flesh shall be saved.
Oh yeah, Yahweh said, if the Lord, except the Lord shorten the days, no flesh shall be saved.
The Lord shall shorten the days, no flesh shall be saved. So, the vine's languishing, all right? The spirit is drooping. The spirit is being exhausted. All these people, you look back in everyone talks about like the 90s. No one's glued to their phone. Nobody's fucking, social anxiety currently is at an all-time high. Comparativism, covetousness, all those fucking spirits, that shall come in the last days. The scriptures say, let's pull it up actually, in the last days, men shall be lovers of themselves. That's Timothy, but
it's Timothy 3. Yeah, I think it's 3. 2 Timothy.
Salakia.
Yeah, 2 Timothy 3.
2 Timothy 3. Come. Salakia. So 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. And starting at the top, it says, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. All right, and we're in Jacob's trouble right now. All right, we're in these perilous times at the beginning. All right, it's yet to hit its climax, but it's only going to get worse from here. It says, for men shall be lovers of themselves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, and unholy. And all of these things are traits, all right, of wickedness. And wickedness takes away from life, therefore languishes. All right, these people now are living at an all-time high in wickedness. All right, so when you have that applied to these people's lives, you see the quality of life that's going to go down, because righteousness leads to longer life. I believe that says that in the Proverbs. Righteousness adds to the days of your life. All right, so these people are languishing and they're fucking being life for them is sorely bitter, Not only because Esau's coming down with his great wrath, and also because of this fucking wickedness that is around this place.
I got you, bro. Just to back up. This is Wisdom of Solomon 3:11. It says, "For whoso despises wisdom and nurture, he is miserable, and their hope is vain. Their labors unfruitful,
Right.
and their works unprofitable. Their wives are foolish, and their children wicked. Their offspring is cursed. Wherefore blessed is the barren that is undefiled, which had not known the sinful bed. She shall have fruit in the visitation of souls." All right. So ultimately, if you despise the truth, you're miserable. Though it sounds like, oh, I'm having fun, this, that, and third, but you may have fun for a moment, but that's temporary. That's a temporary spike of joy.
Right.
Because what's that? The wicked shall not be unpunished. Ultimately, you gonna say something?
It's Revelation 3:17, if I may.
Uh,
So, because thou sayest, I am rich and increase with goods, and having need of nothing, and knowest not that which thou art wretched and miserable, poor, blind, and naked. And this is, these people are justified by the things that they have in this world. The scriptures talk about, thinking that, godliness is great gain. These people think that just because they have, riches and things in this life, it is why they're actually, blessed and living a good life. And I say that because at the end of the day, these people justify themselves by these carnal means. They say, oh no, things are a little bit rough right now and the mirth is ceasing, but we still are able to maneuver and walk around. But that's the fucking thing about these people. 2 Timothy 3:5 says, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof, such turn away. These people hear the prophets, the truth goes out, and then they deny that power thereof. The mirth is ceasing, the daughters of music shall be brought low. There's so many different avenues you can take it there as to why shit is so wretched. Even from the poorest of the poor to the richest of the rich, the mirth here is fucking ceasing. Okay? You look at schools, you ever like drive past an elementary school, you see the kids, they over here dressed up in some dumbass clothing, some nigga shit. They be wearing some like wolf shoes and super furry Sasquatch looking ass shoes, and they walk around so worldly nowadays. You see kids, they always fucking necks bent 90 degrees looking down at their phone. There's no life here anymore. You walk down the street, and instead of people giving you a head nod, these fucking demons just be staring at you like you just shot them. Like they got a 1,000-yard stare. This fucking place is getting oppressed, and you can see it in the fucking people, bro. Everyone that you walk around, everyone you get around is like a fucking demon. And the one time somebody says like, hey, well, hi, what's up? It's like a shock. It's a shock for somebody to actually be like, hey, how's your day going here nowadays?
yeah.
And that's how devilish this Babylonian fucking country has gotten to, man. That's how devilish these people have gotten to. That's how far this mirth ceased. There's no happiness in this place. Everyone's in competition, right? Everyone's covetous as fuck, right? Everyone feels like they got to get up on the next person and pretend like they're winning. Everyone's fucking losing. Everyone's losing. Social media will have it to, have you think that people are just constantly on the up and ups. They're fucking not, okay? They're not. Even these women, matter of fact, not to talk too much, but, women be lying on social media. Bitches are starting to use AI to edit their pictures now. And matter of fact, too, women use makeup to contour fake abs on their flabs to make it look like they're more than they are. And this is the society that we're in now. At one point in time, women were actually in shape. That's another example of the mirth ceasing. Because healthiness, being healthy is happiness. Like, what is that scripture in?
Yeah, I was thinking of that scripture.
Sirach.
Yeah. What's that? One who has a good care for a diet.
I believe it's like Sirach 30 and 15 or something like that.
If you want to get this, let me read this right quick. I think it's 8 and 50. It says, "For many great miseries shall be done to them, and in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride." So ultimately, the Lord, he's chopping the pride off this place. It's like a tree. You just hitting this shit, from the bottom. You chopping it down, and it's gonna fall eventually. And this is the buildup. To the Jacob's trouble ultimately. We're in Jacob's trouble, but when it fully manifests, because you're gonna know when we're in Jacob's trouble. You're not gonna ask, "Oh, we in Jacob's trouble?" Like when all hell's breaking loose, that you gonna know.
It's gonna be a time worse than any time before.
Exactly.
Ever.
So, but you got that scripture?
God, this is Sirach 30 and 15 says, health and a good estate of body are above all gold and infinite health. And also, part of your body is your mental health. Okay? Your mental health actually fucking matters. You guys know?
Yeah, this is scripture. Sirach 30 and 25. A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet. So, when you have a good, cheerful and good heart, when you're in good spirits, you got to care for your diet. But these people, they don't give a fuck. They just trying to get by. All right, that's how you know the mirth is ceasing. You know, and like just look at living. The price of living is you can't even afford to live. You can't afford food. Houses. Look at the housing market. Everything's got fucking inflated. Like, but that's the point of it. And the thing is, these people in the world that everyone's feeling that at the end of the day. But through the scriptures, through the spirit power, how about me outside? We're rejoicing. We have hope. These people don't. So that's the difference.
That's that Proverbs 1 and 20, that wisdom cries without she uttered their voice in the streets. Right? But then at the end of the day, reading down a little more, it says, but we will laugh at their calamity. Okay, because, when their fear cometh, we'll laugh at their calamity because the Spirit's been out there. The Lord put it out there, all right, to have the prophets through his Spirit, speak the things that which are to come. And a part of the things that are supposed to come is a mirth ceasing, all right, the vine languishing, being exhausted. Look at these fucking people nowadays, bro. They got all different types of demons on them. They have no strength to fight off themselves whatsoever, bro. The world right now is at an all-time high of fucking moes, chomos, fucking all-time high of rapists, robbers, murderers, idolaters. This is literally a visual representation of the vine languishing in a society that needs to be fucking done away with.
Bro, vices are at an all-time high,
Right.
People drinking all the time, smoking, doing whatever fuck they do to try to get by mentally. Cuz they're not at rest, They're mourning ultimately. That's why scripture says we have pipe.
Con.
If you want to get that one. This is Matthew 11 and 28. It says, "Come unto me," it's Yahweh speaking, "all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." We have rest in this truth. Believe in Yahweh Bashmi Shai. The promise. That's our hope. Because if not, what else is there to hope for? You got niggas trying to act like Babylon gonna bounce back. Bro, this shit is done. It's through. Alright? It says, "Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls." Alright? And that's the part Isaiah 33 and 6. "Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times." We're gonna be Lord willing, probably elect. We're gonna be stable in the times to come. And that word stability goes into one, meaning faith. So, and these people don't have faith. They have faith in this place. But this shit's gonna disappoint them. Like it's a rude awakening is coming to these people. It says, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." You want to read that one?
Con, this is Matthew 11 and verse 17. It says, I'm saying, actually verse 16 says, "But whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto children sitting in the markets and calling unto their fellows and saying, We have piped unto you, and ye have not danced. We have mourned unto you, and ye have not lamented."
Yeah. So, and that's the prophets ultimately, giving the good news, let's go to Isaiah 61 right quick. It's the prophets, basically giving this word out to Jake, but Jake rejecting it. Isaiah 61 and 1, it says, "The Spirit of the Lord power is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, right, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound." All right, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance, to our power, to comfort all that mourn. Israelites, you heathens, this is not for you. All right, but this is our rest. This is what keeps us grounded ultimately. This is
comforter.
Perfect. This is our comfort. It says, "To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, the mirth of this place season." These people are mourning.
That's right.
It says, "To give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planning of the Lord that He might be glorified. And ultimately, damn, I just had a point. I just forgot it. That's Satan, bro. I forgot the point. But you got anything to say, Logan? I get the point.
I mean, too, also, the scriptures talk about in Daniel 7:25, it says, he shall wear out the saints of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
That's fire.
Being the fact that Revelation 12:12, the scriptures don't lie, and they also don't go away. Like, just because, something is happening right now, and then it kind of dials down, doesn't mean it ain't going to come back. So Revelation 12 and verse 12, it says, Rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And we're in these last times. All right? In the last times, like the scriptures say, it says, it shall be in the days of Noah, where people will be, banqueting, giving unto marriage, But then, the flood came and abruptly killed them all. The scriptures say, the Lord shall come as a thief in the night. And as people languish, right, like we went into that, to be weakened, they're weakened more and more and more and more. By the time that all of this comes to fruition, they're going to be ultimately set down on low. Okay? They're going to be set all the way down to ground zero through the Spirit. All right? You got something?
Yeah, the word language, fail in strength, exhibit signs of approaching death.
Right. Exhibit signs of approaching death. That's heavy.
Judgment is coming.
Part of that mirth ceasing, that happiness going away. All right, it's going to be a time of all-out hell, all right, for all of those who are trying to live the good life here, all right, for all of those who put their lives first, all right, just, chiefly you Jakes, because this truth is for the nation of Israel, pursuing Isaiah 147 and 19 through 20.
I mean, Psalms.
Psalms 147 and 19 through 20, so like it. This truth ain't for these other, these scriptures are not for these other nations, okay? But I don't got anything else. You got anything else?
No, point was made, through the Spirit of the Lord willing. But yeah, this place, the mercy of this place is ceasing. So, and you got people trying to sell out for this
Right.
shit. Like, man, fuck this place. This bitch is on his way out. So, Lord willing, we stand firm and stay focused.
Right.
That's really, that's really what it is. The Lord is showing us that he's breaking this place down, and it's not gonna recover. What's that? We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed.
Right.
So this place is on its way out. So hopefully, with this, as well said and edifying, we want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahshua, by Hashem, Kakadash. Till next time, shalom.